Let's talk about how we would draw this part. First, we want to make sure that we pick a really good axis location. So let's see where they place the axis for this part. Let's do hide show. You'll notice right down here at the bottom, but it's on this back face, and the part is just centered right down the middle there. So now let's take a look and recreate this over on our model. Let's come over here. Let's go to Sketcher and let's sketch on the XY plane. Let's sketch that rectangular bottom. So let's pick the centered rectangle, and let's pick, say, here to somewhere up in here. Okay, we're not going to worry about the exact dimensions. We'll make it a little bit smaller, something like that. Okay. Let's get out of Sketcher, and let's make a pad that comes up. That looks about right. We'll just say OK. Now at this point, usually what we do is I like for the students to color their part body. So they come in here, and I like this dark gray that's here. The reason I like this is when you're sketching on this, it's a little easier to see the sketches when it's over a darker surface. Okay. Now we're going to go to Sketcher, and we're going to sketch this. Piece that comes up here. Now, if we pick a plane to sketch on, like this plane, sometimes when you pick the plane, oh, look at there, it flipped the wrong way on us. We'd really like it to be this way. So there is a trick here. Let's get out of Sketcher, and let's actually pick to sketch on, let's pick the face here instead of the plane. Because with the face, it's going to actually pull that face flat to the screen. We're not going to need to flip it. So 9 times out of 10, picking the face is actually a little bit easier. Now let's pick our elongated hole option. Let's start it right here. Let's pick up the origin. Let's go up, and let's make it come out about like so. Okay. Now, we don't need all of this at the bottom, so we're going to delete that piece. And this piece, this line that comes across the bottom, we should really be projecting this edge into our sketch. But since we don't know how to do that yet, let's just go ahead and draw a line from here to here. At this point in our Catia career, we haven't learned how to do that part of it yet. And so then let's take this line here, let's right click on it, let's say object, and let's force it to be vertical now. Okay. Now the only thing we have to set now is this up and down here. And of course this, we need to set it to be right on this edge here also. So let's do a dimension between here and here, right click, coincidence. Now I'm not going to dimension the height of this because it's not part of the methodology. We'll make a pad out of this, and let's reverse the direction of that. Now come on, let's get in here. There we go. Let's reverse the direction, say OK. And now we're ready to add in this little boss that comes out here. So let's go to the front face of this. Let's sketch on the front face there. Okay. Now we'd like this arc to be in our sketch. In fact, we'd like that entire circle. So let's go to Sketcher and let's sketch. Let's make sure that we pick up this axis, and we'll sketch a circle. And we're intentionally making it the wrong size and in the wrong position. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the Control key down and pick that circle and this edge, and I'm going to come up here to my Constraints dialog box, and I'm going to pick Coincident, and that's going to make this arc lie on that selected edge. Okay, so that is the way to make that circle. It's not correct to put a dimension on that circle, because the dimension should come from the piece that's already made. Okay, so now let's exit Sketcher and let's make a pad, and it comes out a certain amount. Let's just do that and say OK. So now our part's looking pretty good. It's time for us to put a hole all the way through this part. So now we'll pre-select this arc either here or here, and we will put a hole, and I can pick anywhere on this face. Because I pre-selected the arc, it actually finds the center of that arc and positions it there. I'll say up to last, and we'll just increase the diameter a little bit. Of course, you'll have to read the exact amount from your from the draft sheets. Okay, there we go. Now we're ready to do some fillets. We'll start with the larger fillets, and we will put those in now. We'll put those to be here and here. And as you know from our color coding, our large fillets are 20. Okay, and we'll color code those green. I like to just color as we go along. Okay, the next ones we're going to do are the blue ones, and we know that those are 5. So we'll do our fillet icon again. We'll key in 5, and then we will pick this edge, and we will pick this edge, and we'll say OK. And now we will change the color of those. While they're still pre-selected, we'll change it to blue. Perfect. Uh-oh. You can see that I accidentally selected the face instead of the edge. So I'm going to double-click the fillet again. And now, in order to unselect the face, we simply select it again. Now it's unselected, and now I can select the edge here, and I'll be a little more careful this time to select just that edge, and I'll say OK. Great. Now we need to put the yellow fillet in. Okay, now that's a 10 millimeter. So we'll select our fillet icon, and we'll key in 10. And we will select this edge, and this edge. Oops, I selected the whole face. I'll turn it off, and I'll select the edge, and I'll say OK. And I'm going to change that to yellow. Okay? Now you'll notice that it's not rounded like this one is over here. So we're going to have to change the fillet a little bit to match that one. So we're going to double click our fillet again, and I can just simply come back up here to the edges to keep, and I'll add those in. So if you don't get your fillets right the first time, you can adjust them and modify them. Say OK, and that is what we want. And so now, of course, we would have to make our dimensions correct, but this is how you would draw that part.